Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Babette. I don't have that many videos, but we're gonna change that. Um, Today I'm gonna be talking about a lot of books that I've read recently, and by recently I mean within the past few months, because I'm doing this thing where, unintentionally, where I will read like 3 books in a day and then not touch them for a while. To be fair, they are all like pretty short, like prose or fiction, or not, or you know what I mean. They're all short. They're all short novels or like stories. Um, but they amount to an okay amount, for me, because I love reading, I love literature, but I'm really inconsistent with it. So I'm trying to get better at that. Um, at the end of the video, I'll talk to you about this little stack of books right here, that's on my desk. That one is just on the floor. It is so tall, it is up to there. That's the one that I'm going to talk about. This one right here. These are the upcoming books. Except for 2 that are in my book sleeve. I just have in my bag. I'll mention those, and then I'll get into these ones around the end of the video. But today we're going to talk about these bad boys. I'm not going to do these in any particular order. And some of them I won't go into very much detail of spoiler reason, and also might have to revisit them, honestly. Um, because, for example, I'd actually say most of these I remember quite a bit, except this one. Um, and maybe that's because of the effect of the writing, that it felt very like fever dreamy, that I can't really recall too much of it. I just remember enjoying it. So I guess I'll start with this one. It's I, Little Asylum by Emmanuel Guattari, and it is not it's not really a memoir, but it's little vignettes inspired by the author's experiences, um, kind of towing the line between fiction and nonfiction as far as I'm aware. Um, I remember enjoying it. It's about these kids that like live near a, what would you call it? It's labeled psychiatric clinic on the summary. That's what I'm gonna call it, a psychiatric clinic, that they live near it. To have them participate in the material organization of collective life. So yeah, um, very interesting. I enjoyed it. It was good, but I honestly might have to revisit it because I don't have a lot to say, and I don't know if you'd classify that as a good thing or a bad thing. I just remember enjoying reading it, but not having too many thoughts afterwards. This actually, you know what? I'm gonna classify 3 of these together. I'm gonna classify 3 of these together because they're all Japanese fiction, and they're all Japanese fiction that are borderline eerie or odd or strange. Yeah, so I'm going to go by. They're all very famous authors, by the way. Yoko Ogawa, Osamu Dazai, and Hiroko Oyamada. I'm gonna start with this one, Hiroko Oyamada, author of The Hole. I read The Hole years ago when I lived in Buffalo. I went into a small little bookstore and I picked it up. I was like, "Yeah, you're coming with me. You're coming with me." And then years later, I found this and I'm like, "Is that the same? That feels like that's the same." And it literally says author of The Hole. I was like, "Okay, so it is." So I read this. Very enjoyable, very fun, very playful. Um, very like, there's just a little something going on. I don't, and I also want your guys' opinions. Of, do you think I should do, because I'm not really doing book reviews necessarily. I'm just kind of yapping about them. Like, I wouldn't really consider these reviews. They're not in depth enough to be reviews. But also, like, I don't give a shit about spoilers at all. Genuinely don't care at all. But I know a lot of other people do. So for now, I'm trying not to spoil stuff when I talk about books or pieces of media. Um, but if you guys want the opposite and you're like, no, I want you to get into it, okay, then let me know. And maybe I'll do that with like one piece of media, each thing. We'll see. Um, I was gonna say it depends on what you guys want, but right now that's not really true because I don't have a lot of interaction. I would say it depends on what I end up deciding. And then if I end up getting interaction, we'll go from there. Yeah. But these videos are kind of just for me, just to yap about literature and academics and stuff that I'm interested in. And I feel like the more that I've only made a couple and they're all very far apart. But I feel like the more if I don't plan on getting into it like crazy, like being a regular creator, but I do feel like there is a sense of like, oh, I kind of want to show what I'm working on. Like this, some of my other videos, I'm talking about essays that I'm writing or have written or never finished. But I am in school right now, and it kind of makes it a little bit more fun for me to make a video form or whatever of what I'm working on. So yeah, these aren't necessarily school related, obviously, but to me, it's all together. Weasels in the Attic, very enjoyable. Osamu Dazai, one of my favorite authors of all time. He's become very popular. No Longer Human. This is the prologue to No Longer Human: The Flowers of Buffoonery. Um, I was carrying this book around for a while because it was taking me a bit to start it, but lots of people are like, "It's an interesting cover. I like that cover," and I was like, "Yeah, yeah." Um, it's very like the ending is not what I thought we were gonna like. Oh, it's so obvious this thing is gonna happen. Like, there's no way he's not gonna have this thing happen at the end, and then it didn't happen. And I was like, "Zaza, you bastard, you got me with that one." Um, oh shit. There's a quote on here about Dazai by one of my other favorite Japanese authors, Yukio Mishima. What I despise about Dazai is that he exposes precisely those things in myself that I most want to hide. Okay. I love Yukio Mishima. The Sound of Waves is one of my favorite books for literal years. Spring Snow, like I want to read Heart of Sun and Steel, The Golden Pavilion. I love Yukio Mishima. That man is he's everyone knows him for his political career, but like he's kind of a low key shoujo author. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Um. Anyways, really good. I enjoyed it. Very silly, very playful as well. A lot of these, a lot of these uh, Japanese fiction just tends to be that way of like tiptoeing between eerie and silly. Not silly, but playful. Um, and especially with such a difficult topic, I think that it's been approached really well in this book. I really enjoy it, and um, I don't know. It's just like it's very like kind of relate to what's happening a little bit, but the experiences turn out very differently. Or do they? You know, that's I don't know how much I'd have to like think about it a lot longer to decide like just how different our experiences are. But yeah, the the premise of the experience is what's different, but the outcome seems to be the same for me. But that's personal. Um Moving on to Yoko Ogawa, author of The Memory Police. That's what she's most famous for. I haven't read The Memory Police yet. Don't kill me. I will get there. All right. Um, Revenge. It's a bunch of short horror stories. I fucking loved this shit. Also, just can we admire? Can we admire this cover? Like, okay. Um, Very enjoyable. It is one of those you think they're all separate, and the further you get into the book, they're not. They're connected. Very enjoyable. Just loved it. I'm gonna definitely read more Yoko Ogawa. There's a short, like it's like 17 minutes that's been on my YouTube recommended of someone talking about Yoko Ogawa's work. Want to watch that at some point. The Next is James Baldwin, The Fire Next Time. In the beginning of this copy, I'm not sure if all copies are like this, but in the beginning of this copy, there is a letter to his nephew who shares the same name with him, and it's very heartbreaking. It's very like, like it kind of brings about this misery that I feel like some white people don't have access to. I don't want to there's no the comparing tragedies is just not cool. It's not a valid thing. But it's like imagine being a black person that has those same pits of sorrow as a white person, and then on top of it is all the experience of a black American, especially in James Baldwin. This first appeared in 1963. The 1960s. God, can you imagine? I could never fully understand, and I never will fully understand, but even the ability to empathize just brings you to this point of like, it's God, it's not been that bad for me, you know? And I don't know if that's just like checking in and like being aware of the world around that I feel like a lot of white people tune out, but it's just like, I, and to that same extent, like James Baldwin's, as beautiful as his writing is, as much as I enjoy it, it gives you this like feeling of misery that kind of puts you on the trail to hope. Like you start out being miserable, like God, like how can this be someone's experience? What can I do about it? I can't do anything about it. You feel very helpless. You could be a black trans woman in the 70s, you know? You could be a black trans immigrant woman in the 70s, okay? So like yes, like what you're feeling is real, what you're experiencing is real, but also like it's not that bad. Completely side note. Another work that I have in here is Toni Morrison. It's my first Toni Morrison novel. It's Jazz. Um, Fucking loved it. I'll talk about it more in a little bit. But like, white people love gassing up. Not that they're not worth gassing up. James Baldwin, Toni Morrison, fantastic, fabulous, amazing people. Okay, incredibly beautiful writing, both of them. But there are more black authors than just James Baldwin and Toni Morrison. But I love James Baldwin. He's always gonna like have a place, okay? But I have been seeing some stuff recently, like video essays of other black creators talking about how they're not the biggest fan. And that makes me want to rewatch that that discussion between James Baldwin and Nikki Giovanni, because I love Nikki Giovanni. I love her. Um, and I remember really enjoying that discussion, but now I'm seeing a lot of people say like, guys, she kind of got shut down quite a bit. She got mansplained to. She got um her her thoughts negated, and it's like maybe I ignored that over the rose-colored lenses of James Baldwin. I'll have to come back to it, and I also have to just do more research and see what other black people are saying about this. What other people in general are saying about this, but also it's just like it's mostly black people talking about it. It's not really white people or other people of color. Um, Maybe I'm not following the right people. Maybe it just hasn't come to me yet, but we'll see. Jazz by Toni Morrison. My first Toni Morrison novel. This was brilliant. Really enjoyed it. Don't kill me for not reading Beloved first. Don't kill me for not reading The Bluest Eye first. I will get to them, and I will come back to you. This honestly was such a great introduction, though. Um, I really enjoyed it. I really loved it. I borrowed it from the library originally, and then after reading it, I saw this copy, and I was like, "You're coming with me." It's very lovely. Like, look at that, very beautiful. Just very nice copy of it. Um, I love Toni Morrison. I've been watching a lot of her lectures or like discussions that she has with other people when she like visits universities. There was one where she visited the university I believe that she went to, and she has a talk with her friend, and it's phenomenal. I love the way that Toni Morrison speaks, and to me, she writes the way that she speaks, and that is just one of my favorite things that humans do, is when they write the way that they speak. Um, I could go on about her, but we're not going to because I'm already at 18 minutes. Um, the Male Manipulator book, Diary of an Oxygen Thief by, well, it's just anonymous. Um, Good riddance. But some of these reviews are just not, I really don't know. This one says F. Scott Fitzgerald for the iPod generation. Rather you just not use words if you're going to use them like that, but okay. Yeah, I don't love these reviews that are on the back. Kinky, artsy, and swoon-worthy. So we didn't read it, actually. These are not, I'm just not gonna even look at those. Those are not valid. I did enjoy this book. Um, there's one point, I'm not gonna spoil too much, but there's one point where you start like building empathy for the main character, and then you just, oh, it's gone. There it goes. Um, I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. It's very digestible, very legible. Not really a confusing work, just kind of a tells you what happens, and I enjoy that every once in a while. There wasn't too much to like not digest, dissect in this book, and I liked it. And it's funny too because I remember one of my first dates with my boyfriend. We went to a bookstore, and I was like, I've seen that on my page. I want to get that one. He was like, isn't that the Red Flag book? And I was like, what you mean by that? What? Nobody told me that. I liked it. It's good. And then a very famous but not so famous book, A Dog's Heart or The Heart of a Dog, by Mikhail Bulgakov. Mikhail Bulgakov is very famous for The Master and the Margarita, and this copy I have banged the fuck up. But this was very satirical, very enjoyable, very political commentary without being directly about directly clarifying that that's what it is. Um, I very much enjoyed it. I liked the case histories every once in a while. Um, I have to read Master and Margarita now because this was beautiful. It was very heartbreaking at certain points. It was very like, oh, okay. I loved it. Those are the books that I have read recently. They were very enjoyable. I'm going to put them on the stack. Kirby, under Kirby they go. And a lot of my books are under Kirby for some reason. We're going to talk about this stack. I'm not going to talk about it too much because that's kind of a lot and I'm already at 20 minutes. I'm just going to tell you the names. And maybe that's it. Okay, so, and the two books that I'm reading before I get to that stack. Currently, I'm reading White Nights by Fyodor Dostoevsky, A Gentle Creature, and then One Other. They're like in a collection of short stories. I don't remember the third title. White Nights is White Nights for a reason. Very enjoyable so far. Not very far in, but I love it so far. It's my boy Dostoevsky. I love Dostoevsky. And then my next one, I don't remember which one, but I will be getting into one of the main four Clarice Lispector novels. And recently I watched a video essay, Clarice Lispector's magnum opus, The Apple in the Dark, and the Almost Orpheus is his his channel name. She clarifies this to be one of the work of her career. It's an existentialist novel, and I'm definitely reading that shit next. It looks really good. Almost Orpheus has definitely convinced me to read this book. Um, it's very like yeah, yeah. The guy that is talking about Yoko Ogawa's work also has a video. I think he says, I haven't watched it, but I think somewhere in the title it's like Clarice Lispector is the mother of modernism or something. She's something of modernism, and I'm like, oh, that seems interesting. What do I? Notes of a Crocodile. Almost Orpheus also made a video about this, and I watched that video, and I really enjoyed it. So, well, I've had Notes of a Crocodile on my to read list. It's been sitting in the stack for a while. But then I watched that video, and now I moved it up because I really want to read this. The Book of Hrabal. I'm not gonna pronounce that last name right. I don't even know. Oh, It's a Hungarian name. Yeah, I'm not gonna get that correct. I apologize. Peter or Peter Esterhazy. Doing my best. American over here. Give me some slack. We're gonna read that. Tokyo Inner Station by Yumiri. This has been, I have started this a couple times, but it's such a short read that I might power through it in like a day. I have had this on the list for a while, and I just keep moving other stuff up in front of it, but I am gonna try and finish this one soon. Peregorio Bolzik. I don't know how. Don't laugh at me, bro. I was reading this for a good amount. I got to page 58. And then I just was like, not. I realized at some point I stopped paying attention. So I was like, let me put it down and let me come back to it. And I might start it over. But we'll see. It is illuminated by Jonathan Safran Foer. I just picked this up because you find a chunky, small, bright yellow book, you buy a chunky, small, bright yellow book. Them's the rules. Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She's a very famous author, and I believe she is the person that I got shown a TED Talk in school years ago about the single story. And actually, let me double check that right now. The single story. Okay, yeah. So it is The Danger of a Single Story. That's her concept. The Danger of a Single Story. So it was very lovely that it was years ago I was shown something by her. I believe it was a TED Talk that she had, because I do want to get into more Black literature, Nigerian literature, Ghanaian literature, all of them if you can. Yeah. Passing. I remember starting the movie, and I don't remember why I didn't finish it. But this is Passing by Nella Larson. A very short one. I'll come back to that. And then by Russian name. Oh, it's not even an easy common Russian, or maybe it is. I'm not Russian. I don't know if it's a common name. But Yevgeny Zamyatin. I started this years ago. Years ago. Like maybe like might have been in high school when I started this. And then I did like a purge, and I gave it away. And because I couldn't justify myself keeping a lot of books at the time, but we're building it back up. So I just remember enjoying this quite a bit. Oh, um, that's what I forgot until I just saw it right here. This was written before 1984, and apparently this dystopian work is considered to have inspired George Orwell. So that's interesting. So I can't even say this is 1984 coded, and 1984 is we coded. Okay, or maybe that's me dumbing things down. I shouldn't even make this statement in the first place. But I do remember enjoying this. I'm not super into science fiction. I do like dystopian novel. Year of Rest and Relaxation. Not the same setting, not the same style, very different. Because I did start this, and I just remember being like, "Is this the same person?" But I really, really enjoyed my Year of Rest and Relaxation. But also need to clarify, I hated the main character with a passion. I don't know if everyone feels that way. I just remember My Year of Rest and Relaxation being very popular at one point, and I don't remember if it was for all the right reasons. So she was kind of racist, like randomly, and just very like, I don't know, just very like I don't know. Her privilege was staggering. Yeah, we're gonna yeah. So those are what I'm reading next. I'm at 30 minutes, so we're gonna be done. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I might have to edit this down a lot because I wasn't very aware of the mic. So